Welcome everyone, as we are about to start our study today, Spiritism Inspiring Lives. May all of us, incarnates and all of those in spirit who are with us, start these reflection moments with a prayer, helping us to harmonize our minds and harmonize our hearts. As we focus within, observing ourselves as essentially beings of love and peace, of goodness, in this journey of evolution and progress where we find ourselves. Let's start to say thanks towards everything what we have in our existences, to the experiences that are presented to us for us to promote ourselves even further, learning gradually about the universal laws, stimulate the superior references within our consciousness, as we go along educating ourselves, taking advantage of the time that is presented to us, for us to spiritualize ourselves, for us to dematerialize ourselves, for us to free ourselves from selfishness and pride, and choosing the beautiful pathway of humbleness and charity. And in that way we also give thanks to the enlightened spirits who once more are with us, anticipated us, preparing this ambient, and inspiring us throughout these moments. And in that way, as we feel centered and with our hearts full of gratitude, as learners of the greatest masters, Jesus, we start our study today. So be it. Welcome everyone as we carry on our reflections about the Spiritism Inspiring Lives. And the theme today is Follow the Truth, where everyone who is through our channels connected, YouTube, Facebook, or even with Web Radio Fraternidade, also can enjoy and comment and bring the questions and bring their participation if you wish to do so. It's very interactive, our study. So our team, Follow the Truth. Our reflections are based on the theory of reincarnation within the view of immortality, understanding that we are all immortal beings, spirits who are evolving and growing throughout different existences. And our team, Follow the Truth, is based on the book Our Daily Bread, within the message Follow the Truth by the Spirit Emmanuel. So we will start reading one slide and then we go through and comment, and all of us are invited to participate. Hello, Celia, feel welcome. And we ask kindly Severina to read it for us first, please, Severina.
Hi. So the first slide. Because the truth is relative, many thinkers opt for the road of absolute negativism, making materialism an area of extreme intellectual perturbation. How to interpret the truth, it seems to be so elusive to the ordinary methods of evolution. And boasting superiority, the focus scientist asserts that what is real does not go beyond organized forms, much like functions who only accept divine revelation with a circle of the dogmas they embrace.
So let's explore that. Would you like to comment, Severina? Just for us
I'll
to
let
go
you
through.
start it.
Sorry?
So
If we
what I'm
start at the
getting is
beginning,
that
it's much easier to
many
start at the beginning with
scientists
the.
and big
Sorry,
thinkers
Severina.
are.
It seems
Can you
that
hear
your
me?
internet. Yes, if we go through from the beginning, we go through paragraph to paragraph. Let's see, then it's easier for us to reflect if we start with the first one.
So it seems to many scientists that the materialism and negativism which is around us and within the science, I think, field as well, for sometimes is the, as they say, area of extreme intellectual perturbation, is troubled. And the trouble is, how are we going to
I think I come in here because
right now on one hand?
your internet, Severina, is frozen. So let me start again. When we
Okay.
say at the beginning, the first paragraph, when we read by Emmanuel, because truth is relative, that helps us to understand why truth is relative. Why is Emmanuel saying that at the beginning of this message? It's not that the truth is relative, but the understanding of the truth is relative because we are in different stages of understanding the truth. What do we mean by that? We are created simple and ignorant. And since then, all of us has been on a long journey of evolution already. We are now in the human kingdom. We have developed, reached the reasoning, but also sometimes we still are quite limited on the emotional intelligence. So, which means the ethical values, the moral values, we all are evolving, progressing, but our understanding about the truth differs. This is why he says it's relative according to our understanding, because God's laws are equal to all of us, but our understanding about them is what differs. And this is why it's so important for us to carry on studying and reflecting, so that we carry on expanding our consciousness, even in understanding the truth, because we all bring limits and wrong or partial concepts which we still need to actualize and to learn. So that is very important. And merely also, as Severina was starting to say previously, we all are emerging from materialism, which is based on selfishness, and was alive or many existences without considering spirituality, without much having time for God, to pray, or so forth. Now that we are all advancing in our journey, so much so that we have plenty of um, theories on earth, or different channels of knowledge that already are starting to enter into the transpersonal perspective of each human being, which is precisely considering the immortality. No one dies and we carry on learning. So once we evolve more and understand that we learned a lot, but we are quite intellectual and not emotional, because we are not living but we are knowing. So it's almost like we are quite cold or frozen or indifferent in our intellectualism, because as it is based on materialism, we are quite still frozen in selfishness. Therefore, our understanding is much more earthy than, let's say, heaven, or in other words, translating that is much more based on the matter, on the life as a material existence only, than me as an emotional being, as a spirit who are temporal on earth, in order to dematerialize myself so that I advance in terms of the spiritual values. That is what we actually are invited to do here. And because every spirit has their free will, no one can interfere in that. This is the reason why we have the different understandings temporarily. But all of us are free to advance as much as we want, because the free will is within us, and only us as individuals can stimulate it and motivate us to move forward. Then he has a question here within this slide. How to interpret the truth if it seems to be so elusive to the ordinary methods of evolution? Is a very good question that Emmanuel raised for help us, isn't it? I don't know if your internet is better, Severina, if you want to like to add something.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Well, what I understand is that Manuel is just asking, like, in the brackets, for you guys, you don't know much yet. You know what you know within the materialistic world. How are you going to solve those problems with this only limited knowledge that you have right now? So
Precisely.
the answer is boosting superiority. The
I think we could say, Severina, when you said the question, that is, how do you sort it out, as you rightly said, when it starts by saying boost on superiority. So how do you sort it out? Work your superior and inferior complexes. Because
Yeah.
when it says boosting superiority, again, or pride, which is there, that we think, with all the respect that we, because of scientists on earth, that we would have the last word, which is completely wrong. Once we transcend the ego state of understanding our own existence. So once we humble ourselves, once we really put ourselves in the chair of eternal learners and not temporary ones, then we realize our achievements, what we conquered so far, but we still are quite far away from the truth. So humbleness will help us to research more and more into the universal laws, which are God's laws. Either scientists or every one of us, because within the natural laws in the universe, which are God's laws, every spirit can be a scientist in a sense of studying the Spiritist science, which so much the spirits are presenting to us. We all can study Spiritism. We all can reflect deeper and deeper and embrace the opportunity so that we move forward in our understanding, being grateful for the achievements that we conquered so far, but not limiting ourselves towards them. Always have this mind as a scientist to get to know more so that we free ourselves from our laziness and move forward, really. That is very important. Whatever we know on earth, in any kind of knowledge, field of knowledge, that is still is quite limited when we reflect the truth in relation to the universal laws. And happy of those who are choosing already to embrace this opportunity in a humble way, and yet put the efforts into to renew or actualize our thinkings, so to expand more and more. Then we carry on the next slide. It says, hope,
Okay.
however, offers a valuable suggestion to those who hope to enter the realm of higher understanding. It is essential to follow the truth charitably, without the intent of incarcerating it in the cage of limited definition. Let us convert the noble teachings we have received into love. Making an effort to combine truth with charity will result in spiritual progress. Unless we have this imperative, we will run into strong obstacles on the path of sublimation. We need to grow in everything that life offers us that is useful and comely for the eternity with Christ. However, we will not be able to do so without daily transforming the small fragment of truth we possess into love for our neighbor. Would you like to comment, Severina? That is quite beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Philosophical. Go ahead.
Hold on. Sorry. Yes, what I like about this is this. Well, I wouldn't say it's a secret, but it's a magical ingredient to actually evolve and make everything better around us, for us. When we get involved in charity, uh, when uh, when we are grateful for everything we have, even our issues and our problems, it actually benefit the whole organism, psychologically and physiologically, for us. So I like that.
Mhm.
One
What
thing.
comes to my mind here is following what Emmanuel presented in the previous slide, is when he said making an effort to combine truth with charity, which results in spiritual progress. He is here, Paul, helping us to understand it's no longer possible only the intellectual intelligence that we already developed. We cannot understand the divine truth only through the intellectual intelligence without developing the emotional intelligence, and also without developing the spiritual intelligence. Unless we want to go deeper within and to renew ourselves, especially developing the spiritual intelligence, which is the support actually for the emotional intelligence and the intellectual intelligence, we will be for a time crystallized in our old way of analyzing experiences from a very narrow-minded way. And when we are putting ourselves forward to reflect about the truth, which is the God's law, we are invited really to expand our consciousness and become more aware. The need that we have to be humble, the need that we have to learn to be charitable, because we also understand truth through our feelings. Once we break through the egocentric aspects that we bring within, which really blocks us on the intellectual level only. So once we break through, is a gradual process. We also have a much broader understanding about our existences, about our lives. What is the purpose to be here on earth? What is the purpose of the experiences that the universe presents to all of us on a daily basis? So the picture, the image of any experience becomes very different. What is the time that is granted for me to be here in this transitory time once I'm not a body, as I'm not here from earth? So that will change how we engage with the experiences, how we respond in relation to experiences, how we embrace the opportunities too. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I also get the feeling that what he's trying to say is that this making an effort to combine truth with charity will result in spiritual progress. What I think he's saying is that when you actually charitable, yes, well, like I mentioned earlier, that it help us psychologically, physically, but this will only happen if this is truly charity. When is a true, what I think is like honest, without expecting anything back, without expecting any prizes or appreciation. Just do the charity for the sake of charity, like let not the left hand know what the right hand is doing. If we do truly charity like this, that's what that's why we will progress spiritually. That's what I think.
Yes, I think what he says here is really the intellectual intelligence we still need to develop, but without love, we are not going far away from earth. Because when we say charity here, charity in a deeper understanding means love. Love refers to the emotional intelligence which we need to develop, that we are developing the virtuous aspects in ourselves. And then when we develop this spiritual intelligence, which brings the meaning who we are, really, not the physical body, on analysis or criteria of observation will be much broader than that. So unless we go deeper down and be honest without secondary intentions, as you rightly said, if we enter into analyzing experiences with the secondary intentions, then we are not understanding or not improving, not moving forward, or not progressing in our understanding. We still are far away from the truth, which is God's laws, which we bring within. And as we promote ourselves, we also move forward. As we finish here, we will not be able to do so without daily transforming the small fragments of truth. What does it mean? We all have small fragments of truths that we already learned throughout our existences, but they still need to be transformed, actualized according to the real truth that comes from God. We possess into love, into your neighbor. Again, he is making the connection within our understanding, but also the practice is exactly how we learn it within Spiritism, theory and practice. If we just keep on the theory, but we don't shift on the practice level, we always just move our selfish way, then we are very limited in that. And here we are invited to go further. Would you like to carry on, Severina, the next one here?
Understanding asks for reality as much as reality asks for understanding. Therefore, let us be truthful, but above all, let us be virtuous. Well, I need your help with the first one.
So Emmanuel is saying understanding or comprehension, as we have it in Portuguese, asks for reality. Reality means the truth. As much as reality asks for understanding. So again, for us to understand the truth, we need to expand our own comprehension about God, about life, about ourselves, about our existences, about the immortality, about the theory of reincarnation, all of that. As more as we comprehend all of that, the truth in relation to our existences, in relation to our experiences, then we also are, let's say, moving closer to the truth in itself. And that for itself is through, in doing that, we are stimulating the superior aspects or higher potentials that we bring within. And that helps us also to go through here when we go a bit further, as he said in the second one. Therefore, let us be truthful, but above all, let us be virtuous. So be truthful in your thinking, which we are developing, but above all, let us be virtuous. So again, I can be, let's say, understanding a lot of things intellectually, but if I'm on the practical level, I run away, I don't want, I ignore, or I give excuses, then I still is almost like halfway through. Is that making sense? Because as I mentioned previously, through the emotional intelligence, we are also understanding the truth. And if I only develop my intellectual intelligence through my mental aspects, is still, let's say, halfway through, because the love, when we talk about love, the sentiments, once we embrace on that level with ourselves, we also, the feelings, we enter in the subjective reality of understanding truth. And that also is something that we always still need to develop. Is that making sense, Severina?
Yes, well, because often some people, they actually not aware of of their own intentions. So even if they often tell themselves to have the psychological comfort, like you could say, excuse themselves why they did what they did, either is good or bad. And my problem with understanding was before, how can a person who is not aware that, let's say do the charity, he thinks or she thinks that she's doing from the bottom of the heart, but actually there are motives behind this action which the person is not aware of yet, because perhaps he's not on that level. But the second sentence, therefore let us be truthful, but above all let us be virtuous, um, what is telling me, what how I understand, is that even if you are not that much intellectually aware, or even if you are, but let's say you are not, but if you are just being truthful as a person who is honest to honest, at some point you will get there. And that virtues which you're practicing, like for example, even if you're not doing this from the bottom of your heart, you've got some motives you're not aware of, but you're doing something good. And slowly, step by step, by being truthful, you will get to know yourself better. You will be basically improving just by being truthful. Is that right?
It is more or less like that. I understand your question. Why can people? Because the majority of us on Earth and beyond, we still, when we start to reflect about where we are learning, which is Earth, or sacred school, but still is a planet of trials and expiations, which is very primitive. Therefore, the majority of people, and perhaps it refers to us as well, this is why we are studying that, so that we can study ourselves and reflect. We still are quite unconscious in relation to who we are. We are quite unconscious what we are nourishing ourselves with our thoughts, and much more unconscious, unaware what goes on in your emotional dimension. Yet, how to help? Changing ourselves and cooperating as much as we can, because every spirit needs to move forward by itself. We cannot force someone to shift internally. Yes, someone can be very good emotionally, but can be very underdeveloped intellectually as well. When we study deeper down, we still have a lot to develop on both ways, on the rational and emotional level as well. And we cannot do that in the same existence. So from times of some existence, we improve in one way, then we come and improve in another one, that we can gradually add values, concepts, understandings through our own promotion internally. But not necessarily because someone is very good emotionally, that is very clever intellectually, because we also remember we are moving towards a great understanding to understand the universal laws. So that is a lot to learn if we have Jesus as our guide. Of course, how much can we understand about our thinking? And now he is governing the whole earth. So you need to develop other faculties, which is a gradual process. Thais is present saying, to keep an open mind, continue learning and using your reasoning. And I think it is important to life definitely teach us to all time, yes. And then because of our time, we move to the last one here, which we brought a question for the Spirit's book, which says, what is meant by the natural law? And then we have the answer. Natural law is the law of God. It is only law that is truly necessary for human beings to be happy. It shows them what they should or should not do, and they only suffer misfortune when they depart from it. What is the title of our message today? Follow the truth. What is the truth? God's laws. Where is it? Within us. So if we are unhappy, unsatisfied, and so on and so forth, we are all invited to let's say, travel within, so that we become conscious of our unconscious systems and values, which are limited, which are the causes of our unhappiness. We are still apart from the truth. Each time that we redirect our attention through the studies, self-studies, through self-renewal, through doing goodness, sincerely, without secondary intention, overcoming our selfishness, which is really blocking the opportunities for us, then we are broadening deeper down within. We can honestly notice or limit patterns that we bring and freely choose to overcome them in our actualization process, in this long, loving journey which we are all in. And in that way, we are coming to the end. I don't know if you have something to add, Severina.
No,
Fátima dos
absolutely.
Anjos, be welcome. Watching from Rio de Janeiro, feel welcome to be with us here in London. We are all in the same spiritual environment, in the same room. Feel welcome. Do you have anything to add, Severina?
No, just I think already said that the God's laws are written in our conscience.
Okay, good. In that way, we are coming to the end of our study today and inviting all of us to be together for the final prayer as we say thanks for these special moments in our existences, where we are reflecting about some profound references in our existences, which is the truth that comes from God. God who is loving and merciful towards every and each one of us. We ask that we may be blessed by the Enlightened Spirits, and also asking to receive some encouragement for us to carry on, be loyal to ourselves through our proposals, through the proposal of our reincarnation, so that we rest in the time that comes from God in order to unfold and explore more and more the truth within ourselves. Dear God, dear Lord, thank you for all your love towards all of us, for the constant new opportunities that you offer to us, for us to learn to be the scientists of ourselves, considering the greatest science in the world, the divine science, so that we learn to administrate better our thoughts, our feelings, our choices, and improve ourselves on a daily basis, so that we are more enlightened to observe the experiences that the universe presents to us and take advantage in learning, no longer feeling pleasure in deserting, but having inner fulfillment and embracing and engaging and putting the effort in to be better today than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. So in that way, we give thanks for this opportunity once more. So be it. Wishing you well for all of those who have been with us, hoping to be together next week at 7 p.m. and also inviting everyone for those who want to carry on with our study tonight at 8 p.m., which is our study in Portuguese, where we are studying Evangelho e Mediunidade em Minha Vida. In that way, we are coming to the end of our study today. Wishing you well, much peace, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.